let's take a look at page 4 of the document. Step 7 says to begin generating the building section based on the information provided in figure 613. Right, following the guidelines in 615 for the enlarged drawing. We're going to have to turn back on our XREF floor plan. Right? Step A says that the wall thickness and locations are to be derived from the XREF floor plans. Right? Remember, we're drawing the same home. What we're doing here is we're just cutting this building with a line that kind of cuts right through here. So what I want to see in this view below is all of the walls and details that I would have inside of my home. And so for me to find the location of where those walls are, I can simply just look at where they are in our XREF floor plan. I can also find out exactly how thick they are. This one here, if I remember correctly, is 4.5. This one's 6.5. This is an exterior wall. That one's 6.5. Since we're cutting right through here, my wall would be 6.5. There's a lot of things that we need to keep in mind as we are creating our building section. Number one thing we need to keep in mind is that we're just looking at this home. Right? So A pretty much tells us that the wall thickness and locations are going to be derived from our XREF floor plan. Right? It says for us to make the footings below the foundation wall. They're going to be 1 feet 8 inches wide. A footing is this block of concrete that would be poured underneath our cinder block foundation walls to support and spread the load. Step C, the first and second floor thickness is 1 foot 4 3/4 inch. The top of the concrete block foundation wall starts 1.5 inches below the floor thickness. So that's saying that this floor thickness and this floor thickness here, the first and second floor, are the 1 foot 4 3/4, right? The top of the concrete block foundation starts 1.5 inches below the floor thickness, meaning that these little concrete block walls, they start 1.5 inches below that floor thickness. What that does is it provides room for a 2x8 or 2x6 wood nailer. The two trusses have equally spaced vertical members with the diagonals drawn last. These are the trusses, the webbing that you see inside of the roof. Right, so the vertical members, there are going to be 5 of them per truss. Trust me on that. Right. There's one at each end of the wall. There's the center one, and then these ones here are spaced equally between those. So we're going to line the left edge of the wall here, the right edge of the wall there, center this one up underneath the roof peak, and then space them out in the middle of those two. Same thing over here, left edge, right edge, middle, and then equally spaced between those. The trusses shown over the mudroom, let's continue reading that. They are all drawn with 2x4 framing. Remember, 2x4 is 1.5 inches by 3.5 inches. So these boards here are going to be 3.5 inches wide. Now the top chord being the top 2 diagonal pieces, right? The ones that make up the roof peak. Those are 2x6s, so they are 5.5 inches wide. Right, the truss shown over the mudroom is going to be 2x4s. So since the roof is turned sideways over here, we're looking at the skinnier side being the 1.5 inch thickness over our mudroom. And it says that they are spaced, 24 inches? Yeah, 2 feet on center. There we go. Meaning that they are copied every 2 feet left and right. The horizontal lines of the foundation wall are 8 inches apart. So on our foundation that we have here, each of these horizontal lines, they create each and every cinder block. They're 8 inches apart. So we're just going to offset or copy. And then we want to draw the dimensions shown. So the dimensions that we have here are the vertical heights from our floors to our roofs or to the top and bottom of those trusses. It says that where we are, draw the dimensions shown. Okay, the dimensions at the ceiling or to the bottom of the truss. And then we want to draw 1/2 inch thick gypsum board ceiling below the truss, meaning that this top dimension right here, I can highlight it, goes to the bottom of the truss. There are going to be 3 lines in this area. The bottom of the truss, we're going to offset up for the top of the truss, and then that new line, it said to offset down 1/2 inch for the bottom of the gypsum ceiling board. The garage and basement slabs are 5 inches thick, meaning that the slab in the garage you're going to park your car on, and then the slab, the cement poured concrete down in the bottom, is going to be 5 inches thick. It says for us to add the room labels. We're just going to copy them from our floor plans. Now, if we were in AutoCAD, we could copy from drawing to drawing. Since we're not, we're just going to have to retype them. I'm just going to type in one of them and then copy it left and right, and then up or down, and put it in place, and then just change the text. And then it says to extend the truss lines into the overhang fascia area. That's pretty simple. We're just going to extend it into this area here, right? The top chord. And the truss lines extend out into that little guttered area in our drawings. All right. Remembering all of that, or referring back to all of that, I want you to scroll down to page 5. Page 5 has all of the dimensions a lot larger. You can rotate your drawing to where it's a little bit bigger, and you can see those dimensions. And we're going to start here with the first floor. You'll notice we have 2 lines already from our porch. They are 1 foot thick. Well, that's how thick our porch is. Our floor is going to be 1 foot 4 3/4 inch thick. We're only going to be sharing the top line of that. I need to know where to cut that off, and that's going to be at the right edge of this wall. So I've got a few little XREF drawings that I need to reference to get those, and then I can trim and extend and offset and copy. I'm going to do this pretty quickly, and then I'll come back and highlight the main things that I need you to remember.